I think the best question to start with is how do you plan for happiness? I mean, of course, growing up, it's always like find what you're happy about doing, do what you're good at. But over the years, I've actually come to two concrete realizations. And if you do these two things well, you are in a much better position to find happiness. The first thing is that Japanese diagram. I wrote this for the Lawyer Association. Do what you enjoy doing, do what the world needs, do what you're willing to be paid for, and do what you're good at. So if you could find the intersection of those four, that is quite nice. For example, when I took over the firm, I had to cut out a lot of services because it didn't fit that. It wasn't exactly what the world needs. I mean, it was just a commodity. So many people do it, so we cut it out, right? There's other things that the world really needed it, but either I'm not terrific great at it or I don't love doing it, so I also cut that out. So eventually we kind of just keep on narrowing down to the core of who we are, things that we love doing, right? What I'm really good at, what our firm is really good at, solving crazy legal problems with creative solutions. And then the world really need that. When everybody else is doing simple cases, we do the complex cases. We found services that the world really was willing to pay for because they need it. And we enjoy doing it and we do it well, right? So then it's like, okay, we're in a well-positioned space where everybody's happy and I'm happy. But that wasn't quite enough, actually.
Really?
So I was like that for a few years. But I realized even though everybody is like that at the firm, everybody reached that, everybody still took it with different aims. And that's where the second layer kind of comes in. You have to have a reason to do that. To do that is by itself is not enough. Why do you do that? Why are you working? Is it just because you like doing what you do? But there's much more. Is it because you want control? Is it because you want power? Is it because you want freedom? Is it because you want growth? Or is it because you are afraid? These are 5 very powerful motivating factors. And these are like the underlying emotions that everybody has. So why do you work? Why do you expend yourself year after year after year doing this thing? Is it because you just want freedom, you want to express, you want to do what you want to do? Right? Or you want just growth in revenue, in assets? Is it because you just want to have a control over your environment? You want to control your life, you want to control your destiny, right? So everybody has different motivations. And it's actually very different. And in this firm, we actually have 4 or 5 different goals from different managers. And so I care a lot about freedom to be able to explore and to experiment and to think and grow, right? So growth and freedom is much higher for me. Somebody else could be control, right? Like just I want to control, I want stability, I want consistency. Right? I want to see the future and I don't care about growth, right? As long as I have control. So everybody's different. And so once you know what your underlying emotion is, it's much clearer what you should do and what you should not do. And then if you can do that, the first tier where you can do what you're good at, what the world needs, what you enjoy doing, what you're getting paid for, then I think you're in a very good place to be happy.
Do you think people's motivations stay consistent? Or have you seen some people's motivations change over time?
I think it's much harder to change, right? People want and need different amount of money in bonuses. That changed based on their life expectancy, based on what stage they are in their life. But your underlying motivation, who you are as a person, that is almost like in your DNA. It's really hard for somebody who cares a lot about power, prestige, influence, and control, for them to completely abandon all of that and just go, I'm gonna go willy-nilly and experiment, right? And just try a bunch of stuff and have no power, no influence. It's really hard to change somebody's disposition like that.
What do you think mine would be?
If I'm just reading off the cuff, definitely freedom is valued. You don't care that much about power or influence. You don't have that much fear other than the fear of like instability, right? So, but once that's taken place, consistency, organization, stability is there, and then after that is the expression. Then you want to experiment with the dancing and the theater and all of that. So it's very normal. It's fine. It's great. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. there's no right and wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's definitely true. Like the stability leads to like the freedom part of it, if that makes sense. Because it's like, what can I do if I, don't have those basic needs.
How do you control your emotions? Every month, men and women have different emotions.
Yeah.
And also every decade, right? When you hit a midlife crisis, when you just graduate, before you get married, if you're still single, there's different emotions that's going to come, and you know it's going to come.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with it then? How do you prepare to deal with it then? And how do you deal with just the normal raging emotions that you're experiencing on a weekly or daily basis? If you can come up with a plan to deal with it well, you can get so much further. I don't experience FOMO very often, but every once in a while I do, right? I'm a very achievement-oriented person, so when I see other people achieve, occasionally I do feel envious.
I totally relate to that.
You know, and it's like, oh, you know, you switch to a new job, a better job, you know, and you're posting a picture, you're like, I'm always this, and then I'm going to this now. I was like, oh, new city, new friends, new job, new bonus. Like, I get a little bit envious. The way I deal with it is actually have this, it's almost like a New Year's resolution, but it's almost like quarterly, and I update it almost sometimes weekly.
Okay.
And when I just take a look at that, I feel much better because I see all the things that I'm currently doing, what I'm aspiring to do, and what I have done. It's like, you know what emotion you're going to feel, and you have a plan, and so you immediately counteract it, and then you kind of move on. And then the thing is, you harness that. I'm envious of this person because they get to move to New York. They work in this nice building with a great view and new coworkers.
Right.
Why do I feel envious? Oh, because I want that also. I want a new environment. I'm still stuck in this office. Well, I could do something about it. I'll buy a new office, I'll interior design it, I'll bring in more colleagues, and now I have my own little version of New York. I could put up pictures of New York. You know, so it's like, okay, harness that energy, why do you want it, and then make it happen.
Sometimes I think of a really good opportunity as being unique. It has the qualities of being unique and special and hard to come by, hard to find. But unfortunately, a scam will try to mimic something like that. And maybe it's my perception of a true opportunity and what I think an opportunity is supposed to look like. Maybe it doesn't look like that. I have never like terribly fallen for a scam. When I just got out of college and was looking for a full-time job, I got recruited I got solicited by actually like 3 different multi-level marketing companies. And at that, I'd never heard of them before. I didn't know what they were, and I was genuinely kind of distraught about it because I was having a really hard time being like, I don't know what this is, and I don't know if I'm being dumb, I don't know if this means something, or if, and obviously they were MLMs.
Yeah.
So have you experienced that, and how can you identify what is a scam and what's a genuine opportunity?
I'm in the business, right, of helping clients stay away from scams, right? They're getting defrauded. I'm trying to help them.
Totally.
Or I'm doing due diligence for them. I'm also in the business where a lot of people look at our service and say, are we a scam or are we not a scam, right? And so I'm constantly battling that. And I myself am always trying to find opportunities and also try not to be defrauded as well.
Right.
So I've been doing this for a long time, and here's a couple things that I've learned. Most of the time, people are not trying to scam you. Most times, it's very, very rare to find some real, true bad actor. If they are one, it's either they're super sophisticated and it's really hard to detect, or they're so easy to detect that you just immediately spot them. So most of the time, you don't really have to worry that much about scams. Most of the time, you end up failing. It's not because it was a scam.
Interesting.
It was because it was a failure. And that's not those two things are not the same.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You made an investment and that investment was a bad investment. It's not because you got scammed, it's because something went wrong with the investment.
Right.
And it should almost be expected that investments and opportunities and things go wrong. Because most of the time things go wrong as opposed to succeeding. The question you should ask for yourself is, how can this thing succeed? Do I have something to contribute that can make this successful? Because that's the opportunity. It's your chemistry, it's what you can add to that item to make it successful. And other people don't have what you have, that's why it fails.
Interesting.
So true opportunity lies, 50% of the formula lies in you. And another thing that I've learned is that we live in a bubble. And there's so many different bubbles. When you have to understand that the world is completely different on so many different levels. What looks like a scam to you might be just how it's normally done. And if you apply the same kind of requirements, then you're gonna miss out on all sorts of opportunities.
Yeah, I think that definitely reshapes my vision of what an opportunity is, thinking that it's only like 50% and I bring the other 50%. Because I think that's part of for me, like the correlation with scams and opportunities is almost like opportunities is get rich quick, even if it not literally, but just that idea of like, oh, here's this pre-packaged success, you know, and I just have to grab it.
Right.
But that's like kind of the wrong way to think about it, probably.
Right. I think so. I think most of the time when something is like, you have this opportunity, I'm only telling you, I'm telling not anyone else, you just have to do this one thing, sign this form, wire this money over, and then you'll be rich. Chances are it's fraudulent, right? And most people don't end up falling for it. But you really have to understand, well, how, you just ask a lot of questions and really seek to understand. Not judging them, but like, I really want to understand. Wow, it's so, you are so successful. Please teach me, tell me more. I feel like our life can get so much better if we know how to resolve conflicts well. And I'm not talking about like huge conflicts.
Right.
Just little conflicts. Maybe you get in conflict with your barista. And now you can't go to that place anymore and you just lost out on this perk because you love that place, but then you always see that barista there, right? Or, you know, your spouse, you guys are always fighting over this one thing, but how do you resolve conflicts better?
Gosh, it's so hard. It's so hard, especially if you're like kind of like me who don't even like getting into it. Because I've had experiences where it's like, okay, there's something under the surface and we gotta talk about it because otherwise it's just, you know, it's right there. And then we talk about it and we didn't talk about it right or like well enough.
And it almost made it worse?
It makes it worse.
Wow.
Because like the relationship is like either kind of done, you know, because you talked about it and now it's just like there's kind of nowhere to go, or it definitely didn't help.
So two things come to mind really quickly. The first thing is like using I statements. Like I feel really upset when I walk into a house and the dishes are not done. I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you for helping if you can do this for me, right? Favor, saying, it's really just saying thank you, saying please, so being courteous. And directly addressing it, no sugarcoating, but directly saying it, but using an I statement and putting it on activity and not them. And that's the first thing. And then immediately getting over it. Like, this is no longer an issue, and then being happy and let's go shopping, let's go talk, let's do something else, but we've addressed it. It's not something, it's not a big deal. It's addressing it as the small deal that it is. And then, okay, well, that's it. It's almost like if you feel uncomfortable addressing it, and then it makes the situation even worse. So just addressing it like it's not that big of a deal. It needs to be addressed. Thank you for correcting it. And we kind of move on. And that's it for season 4, episode 4. We have one more episode left and then we can wrap up the season. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.